fellow in Barrington had a brand new boat built in Turku, Finland. He was going to come back over to Barrington and whip us all old timers at the sailboat races.
Right.
So he invited Ernie and of course I'm invited along. And he and his wife, we were going over to take the boat out for its trial sail over in Finland in the Baltic Ocean before he accepted the boat.
Right.
Then it was going to be shipped back, but he wanted to sail it around there. So we were invited and we were to share the food expenses, and we paid our own way over. We had the pleasure of sailing over there. And Ernie still had a brace on his leg had broken his leg skiing in the winter. And I didn't want him to go at all, but he insisted on going. So we got in the plane and we got over there. But I knew if he went overboard with that brace on his leg, he wasn't coming back up.
Right, right. Wow.
So I was a little miffed and uncomfortable to start with. And this fellow who owned the boat, he was trying out all these sails he bought, every fancy sail you could think of. And they were tied on sail bags. We didn't have enough sail bins to hold them all. And they were tied on top of the deck. And we had two fellows from Turku. One spoke Swedish, the other one spoke Finnish. And they were coming on the sail with us to see how things worked on the boat and to fix anything if it needed fixing.
Right.
So one of the first days, I was down below, the salt water started coming up through the sink. So I'm standing there by the sink with my hand over the sink yelling, "Hey, the water's coming in, the water's coming in." Finally, one of them went down below and came, we forgot to put the reverse valve in for the water.
Right.
So we had to calm the sail down, and they had to stop and put a new valve in between the water so it wouldn't come up. And then the next day he had a great big balloon spinnaker, and he wanted to see what this was going to do. So it really wasn't the best time to try it out, but he wasn't a very astute sailor. That's why he didn't win races anyway. So they had a lot of different lines because they had so many different sails. And that particular sail was big balloon spinnaker. It was pulled out, I noticed, on a blue line with white in it.
Yep.
And I just happened to notice what they pulled it up with as I was sitting there on the deck. And all of a sudden, the wind came in unexpectedly. The boat started laying over on the side, and the water started pouring in. And this Swedish fellow and the Finnish fellow, they had on rubber boots and no life jackets. And I was pretty worried. I think, boy, if you go overboard, it's goodbye to you. Those rubber boots are going to pull you right under. And I looked over and I saw the blue line, and I grabbed it and let it go. And the sail came tumbling down, and the boat righted up. And then the pump wasn't working right.
Oh, that's not good.
It wasn't pumping out water. So we got a bucket brigade going. And we're handing out buckets of water and throwing them over the side, and buckets of water, throwing them over the side. And then they found out that sawdust from all the pieces, all the woodwork that had done down below got into the pump and clogged it all up so it wouldn't work.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty harrowing. I didn't know all that story either.
And then I was worried about these fellas falling over, and I'm looking to see what was prepared, where were the life preservers and things. The life preserver is up on top of this thing, and there was sails piled all on top of it. They're tied down as hard as they could be so that they wouldn't fall overboard. And there was no way if anybody went overboard you could even throw them a life ring.
Right.
So I decided that was
not smart.
Not smart. And that this fellow was not that good a captain. Actually, we hadn't sailed anywhere with them.
Right.
We didn't know him that well, but a friend of ours that knew them said, well, they were looking for somebody to sail Finland. We thought, the Baltic, that would be interesting.
Right, right.
So the Baltic has different types of navigation instruments, not instruments, but what do you call the things that show when you're in the water?
Buoys.
Buoys. They weren't buoys at all. It was sticks sticking up. And it was like going through Maine with a lot of islands, only there weren't any people on any of them. And just one green island after another, and you couldn't tell how far along on the chart you were, because one looked just like the last one, like the next one.
Right.
So you had to know how to read these systems. And we had no idea how to read them, but the Finnish fellow with us did know how to read them.
Oh, well, that's good.
So we got over to Stockholm, and we stopped at the Royal Swedish Yacht Club. And we had been kind of out a while, and we were kind of stinky and smelly, so Ernie decided he was going down the yacht club and get a shower, like most showers. So he took his towel and he started out down the Royal Stockholm Yacht Club, and he asked the steward there where the shower was. So the steward pointed down the door and go in. And so he went down and opened the door and went in. And there were women in there. So he said, went back to the steward and says, well, where's the men's room? Oh, we both use the same.
Wow.
There's no separate room.
Right,
so
right.
he came back to the boat with his towel. He didn't want it.
You didn't want to show off?
He didn't want to shower with all the women. I was in the aft cabin with the owner's wife, and we had a private shower and with a heated engine. And I could see this instrument I figured it was for calling the Coast Guard, and it had dials on it and things. And I found out afterwards was what they called a Wabasco, a heating system. And it blew hot air in the cabin, but you couldn't call the Coast Guard anyway. There wasn't any way if you were in trouble. So we sailed into Stockholm and tied up. And he was calling some friends, and he wasn't going to go see Stockholm at all. So I said to his wife, I said, I'm going up and see about taking a bus around. And he says, oh, that's for tourists. The owner said, that's for tourists. I said, well, I'm a tourist. And his wife says, I'm a tourist too. Well, I'll go with you. So the two of us went, and then the Finnish and Swedish fellow were taking the ferry boat back to Turku. And the owner of the boat, they said they would send some more crew over to take their places. They wanted to get home. It was their time off. So then we had to wait for the men to come, the new ones to come on the ferry boat. And the owner said, oh, we don't have to wait for them. We could sail a boat over. We don't need them. We want to go tomorrow. We don't have to wait for them. So I said, okay, you could sail back, but I'm taking the ferry boat. I'm not going with you.
That's probably smart after the other incident.
And then his wife said, I'm with Evelyn. I'm taking the ferry boat. So losing two of his crew, he decided he would wait for the extras to come over by ferry boat.
And the ride back was much easier.
Yeah, the ride back was pleasant. I was good on the deck, and his wife was good cooking down below. I couldn't cook on the way, and she could cook on the way. It turned out we were a good team because she had encephalitis, and she couldn't climb and go out on deck and pull lines and help that way. So I did the deck work, and she did the cooking.
Oh, sounds good.
The only thing I didn't like was we didn't drink any alcohol, and sharing the expenses meant paying for their alcohol. So
oh.
We weren't happy about that.
But it sounds like you had a pretty neat trip.
And we had to bring our own sheets and blankets and pay for them by airfare at that time. They didn't charge you for extra airfare. So when I got there, I saw it was about a month cooler in weather than it was at home. So I went down to the local store and bought myself a blanket. I said, I'm going to be cold. With that stingy blanket they got, I'm going to be cold out there. I'm buying my own blanket, so I bought myself a blanket. And the boatyard was out of town, away from many English-speaking people. They were strictly Finnish and workmen, and nobody around spoke the language. So I had to find out the name of where we were. So I took a taxi into town, and I could tell the cab driver where to bring me back.
Right, right.
So I bought my own blanket, and I was glad I had. Although they could turn on this fancy system that blew hot air in the cabin. That was nice.
That was a pretty big deal back then.
Yeah. Shut it off.